morning, Henny. So wonderful to be with you today as we continue our journey looking at Robin Sharma's um, The Wealth Money Can't Buy You. And today we're still continuing talking about growth, but it's an interesting one on growth. And the chapter that we're looking at is headed Fears of Ghost Stories. And he's suggesting that there are just only ghost stories out there. What are your thoughts on it?
Good morning, Peter. Yeah, I think the one thing that stood out for me, he tells a story as part of this gem that he shares with us about a man that was climbing a mountain, and he got to the top of the mountain and he saw that it was getting late, and he started to descend to try and get to the bottom as quickly as he can. But on his way down, he slipped and he started falling. And as he was rolling down, he was grasping for everything he could, and finally he managed to hang on to something. Um, and he pulled himself up and he hung on that, but he could feel that he wasn't going to be able to hold on that long, and he was screaming for help through the whole night, with nothing happened. And then as the sun came up over the mountains the next morning and the light started falling over him, he looked down and he saw that only 6 inches below him there was a ledge that he could have gotten to, and he let go. And I think the point of the story was really that sometimes our fears are only 6 inches deep.
And that they hold us now. How does this impact on the process? Would you like to comment on the process related to these fears and ghost stories?
It also made me think about the process, Peter, and I think when I started looking at that, I think we as human beings tend to make the walls or the barriers around our comfort zones a lot higher than they should be. And as an
Yeah.
example, in terms of process, what we do is we sometimes add so much more to the process. Um, uh, I think we were talking about this, the story about normal kids at school getting a school report. You start building up so much the day before it. What could happen? What is going to happen with this report? What is it going to look like? How will my parents react? We start adding so much input into a process, and we build it up to be something so big, uh, in terms of a fear. And the process now needs to deal with all of this, whereas it could have dealt with something just simple. If I need orange juice, I need to add an orange. I don't have to add apples, pears, and bananas so that I can have an orange juice. And I think we tend to find these excuses. We're finding something to build the walls around the comfort zone to be so much bigger.
From an intentionality point of view, where do you think these ghost stories and fears fit into our intentional living?
I think they are purely blockers. I think they are the procrastination, the
Yeah.
reasons why the graveyards are the richest places, why there's so many songs and ideas and products that's in there as well. I think that's where it starts. It limits us from being intentional. I think um, he talks about refuse to listen to the fairy tales that the ghost stories are selling you. I think our fears are selling us these ghost stories that limits us from living intentional. It's really the blockers that limits us to continue.
Yeah. And I think our challenge for the week is to ask the listeners are, what are these ghost stories telling you?